I just hope the state, the federal government, somebody wakes up. It's like people are gonna starve. Shit right here.
Maria Hernandez lives with her 17-year-old daughter in Poway. They survive off Hernandez's disability check and their combined CalFresh benefits. In March, the COVID emergency allotments ended. Their monthly grocery assistance went from about $600 down to just $160.
$160 for me and my daughter. Just nothing. Just nothing. You can't survive.
With the extra benefits, Hernandez used to buy fresh vegetables and lean meats. Now, they eat what they can afford: ground beef and tuna fish, mac and cheese and top ramen. Produce from food pantries often goes bad within a day, she says. The nutritional change reflected in her doctor's visits for her diabetes.
Because the processed food is cheaper, which is sad, and that's not good for me. My sugars were leveled, but now they're going up and down again.
Hernandez works the grocery sales, but still has to dip into savings. When she had the extra benefits, she set some aside each month to prepare for the day when they would end. She has a stockpile in her pantry. She estimates it will last 2 more months. After that, she'll do whatever she has to.
There's going to be times where, I'm going to just let her eat or whatever the case may be, because I can't afford it.
The end of the emergency allotments resulted in an estimated loss of more than 7.5 million meals a month in San Diego County. Hernandez is one of many.
And a lot of people think it's just unhoused. It's just people that, don't have homes, that may be struggling with food insecurity. It's not. It could be your neighbor, it could be your friend, it could be a colleague.
Food banks, already strained by record food inflation and rising transport costs, are reporting increased demand they're unable to meet. Feeding San Diego spokesperson Carissa Casares says the emergency allotments are irreplaceable.
There's no solution to this, really. This was a huge loss for our whole state, for the whole country, and food banks can't just simply come up with the replacement. We're struggling already with donations that are down from the height of the pandemic. It's not seen as so much of a crisis anymore.
Hunger Coalition CEO Anahid Braki puts this into perspective.
The loss of these emergency allotments is worse than if every single food bank and food pantry closed their doors.
Braki says CalFresh benefits have other advantages over food banks. The dollars are spent locally. They're accessible for those who can't make it to a food bank and can be spent on foods appropriate to someone's culture and diet. And Braki says many San Diegans who are eligible are not enrolled. They may not realize that the income limit is double the federal poverty level, or they believe incorrectly that it will endanger their ability to become a citizen.
So our immigrant and refugee and migrant neighbors, they're afraid to apply for CalFresh because they're worried that they'll be considered a public charge on the government and be looked on less favorably for citizenship. So that is not true.
And many who are enrolled are not getting the maximum benefit for which they're eligible. She says the system is unnecessarily complicated. It requires internet access, tech savvy, and advanced language proficiency. If everyone who is eligible for CalFresh got the benefit, she says food banks could be used more strategically for people who are not eligible. May is CalFresh Awareness Month, and Braki and her team are encouraging San Diegans who do have that access to learn the system so they can help others enroll, and no one should be embarrassed.
The numbers just don't work out when you look at the salaries and you look at the cost of living. So it really isn't a sign of personal failing. This is really an equity issue.
Braki and other advocates are eyeing a piece of legislation that, if approved, would increase the monthly minimum CalFresh benefits from $23 per month to $50. It's an increase almost big enough to cover a gallon of milk and a dozen eggs each week. Meanwhile, Hernandez's stockpile is running out. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.